What's up, party people? Welcome to our live stream on Friday night. Normally, we don't do live streams this late into the evening on any given night, especially on a Friday, but I had a little bit of a connection issue earlier today. And as a result of that, I wanted to make sure that I could go live so I could answer a whole collection of questions because I believe that there probably were a lot of questions that I wasn't able to answer earlier. So I just want to say apologies for the snafu earlier today. And I'm hoping that we can have some fun this evening and get down to brass tacks and have a good time. So do me a favor. In the chat box, just tell me where you're coming from. I would love to know where you're coming from and what type of diabetes you're living with, if anything. And then we can also just have some fun and get into some questions. So feel free to drop some questions in the chat box as well, and we can kind of go through them one by one. We got someone from Indiana. Welcome, Facebook user from Indiana. Margie from Houston, living with type 2. What's up, Margie? Good to have you here. Super glad you could join us today. Nicholas, coming in from Toronto, Canada. Silly. Sorry, my car was making noises. What's up, Nicholas? Glad to have you here. And then we got, let's see who else we got. Judy coming in from Tualatin. What is that? I'm not exactly sure what that means. Pre-diabetic. Darren Fresno. Have Faith from Illinois. What's up? Cam coming from Minnesota. I love it. Nick with type 2. Annette from Nova Scotia, Canada. Awesome. Glad to have you guys here. We got 33 people. We're probably going to have, I don't know, maybe 50, maybe 100 people coming in today, which is awesome. So do me a favor. Go to the chat box and tell me what's on your mind. What is on your mind, my friends? It's Friday. The weekend's coming in hot. It's coming in then 12 hours or so. I want to know a couple things. Number one, what's on your mind health-wise? Number two, what are your plans for this weekend? That's more important than anything else. Do you guys have some downtime planned for yourself? You got some exercise? You got some time in the sun? What do you got planned? I want to know it all. I want to know all of it. So share. Tell me what you got, and then we can have a good time. Nicholas, tell me, what are you doing this weekend? I'm going to start picking on people if I don't hear any questions here. Okay, Margie says, what are the benefits of Amla Green? Good question, Margie. The benefits of Amla Green are that Amla Green is the world's most powerful antioxidant-rich tea. And that's a good thing because antioxidants are good for you. They help neutralize free radicals in tissues. And amla berries, which are Indian gooseberries, lower cholesterol, lower blood pressure, and lower blood glucose simultaneously. So we have a whole army of people that have tried out this product, actually thousands of people over the course of time. And we've gotten really good feedback from people seeing that it actually has lowered their blood glucose, their blood pressure, and their blood, and their cholesterol simultaneously. So if you're looking for any of those, then that's a really good benefit of drinking the tea. In addition to that, it also can be an appetite suppressant. So it can actually just help you eat less food, which is a good thing if you're trying to lose weight and lower your body weight. So that's something to think about in the long term as well. And Margie, if you haven't tried Amla Green, I highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. Okay, this is a good comment. Here we go. Facebook user says, consistency. The spirit is willing, the mind is weak. From Carlo. What's up, my man? That's a great quote. I like it. Okay. Karen says, Oregon snow is starting to melt. Dude, that's a good thing. After the freeze tonight, we're going to go hiking somewhere. That's awesome. Get out, get active, and have a good time. There's no question about that. Okay, Lisa says, my earlier question, if I do intermittent fasting, do I delay taking my metformin at noon? The answer is yes. So Lisa, I'm not your doctor. I can't tell you what to do. If I were in your position, I would delay taking metformin to noon. And the reason for that is because metformin can cause gastrointestinal problems if you take it by itself with no food. So if you want to avoid the potential for any GI problems, including nausea, including vomiting, including a burning sensation, it could be constipation, it could be diarrhea, it could just be abdominal pain. If you want to avoid all that, then I would recommend taking metformin with food for sure. All right, let's get that one down. Rebecca, hi from Melbourne, Australia. I have type 2. You guys are awesome. went for my walk this morning. Love it. Awesome, Rebecca. That's awesome. That's great to hear. That's great to hear. Lay says, fatty liver's relationships to diabetes and how to get rid of fatty liver. Okay, let's talk about fatty liver here for a second, because fatty liver is advanced insulin resistance of your liver. It's the same thing. Insulin resistance is caused by the accumulation of excess fat inside of both your liver and muscle. And if we isolate just your liver, when you accumulate fat inside of your liver becomes insulin resistant. And as a result of that, your blood glucose values start to rise because glucose gets trapped inside of your blood. If you accumulate excess fatty acids inside of your liver, and that continues over the course of time, multiple times, or for many months to years, you can end up developing fatty liver disease. Fatty liver disease is basically a moment in which your doctor can visualize fatty deposits inside of your liver, and those fatty deposits can actually cause significant inflammation. So if you want to reduce the amount of fat stored in your liver, that's a good idea. The way that you do it is by eating a low-fat, plant-based whole food diet. The way that you do it is by exercising regularly. The way that you do it is by performing intermittent fasting. All three of them are insulin sensitizers. All three of them can significantly improve your insulin sensitivity. And all three of them will tell cells in your liver to oxidize or burn, if you will, the existing fat that is stored inside of that tissue. Okay, think about it this way. If you're in a car, your car has a fuel tank. The fuel tank is full at the beginning of your journey. You're on a road trip and you're driving 300-400 miles. Over the course of that journey, the fuel tank starts to get depleted. You start with a full tank, then it's 3/4, then it's half, and before you know it, now your fuel tank is low. Well, in that scenario, your car is dependent on the fuel that it has on board, in the same way that your liver can utilize the fuel that it has on board, okay? At a certain point, your fuel level will become dangerously low, and then you have to go get exogenous fuel from the outside world. So you go to a gas station, you pull up, the gas station then you go to a pump and you put fuel in from the outside. So now you're refilling that fuel tank. The fuel tank goes from low to medium all the way back up to full. Okay, so you've been able to refill that fuel tank, and then you can repeat that process. The same exact process happens in all tissues. Your liver can deplete its own fuel tank, and its own fuel tank is fatty acids and glucose. And that process can take a while. If you already have a significantly fatty liver, then what that means is that you have a lot of fuel inside of your liver. So performing something like intermittent fasting is going to be very helpful for you, because intermittent fasting is extended duration of fasts where you're not eating any fuel. And during those extended durations, that's when your liver, the hepatocytes inside of your liver, are forced to find their own internal fuel. So they go and they get those fatty deposits and they start to oxidize them. So they go from large to a little bit smaller to a little bit smaller. And then over the course of time, they get really small and the fatty liver disappears. That's a good thing, because that enables your liver to become hungry once again. And as a result of becoming hungry, it starts to pull glucose in from the blood. And that's a good thing, because it starts to lower your blood glucose. So it's all interconnected, okay? The idea here is that fatty liver is something that is a reversible condition in most situations. And if you simply adopt the Mastering Diabetes method the way that we describe it in the book, then I highly recommend doing that, because it's going to make a big difference, and it's going to help lower your blood glucose and make your liver less inflammatory. Okay, that's a great question, by the way. Very good question. Okay, Clarence says 69 and COVID has made me go back on insulin. Okay. So Clarence, I've seen this a lot, and actually in many individuals who, they're living with some form of diabetes. Maybe they've improved their health. All of a sudden they get COVID, and before you know it now, their insulin use goes up. Their blood glucose starts to become a little bit more uncontrollable, and it can become very frustrating. So in a normal situation, COVID, the viral infection, is only supposed to last you approximately a week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. And then it can, your body neutralizes that infection and you move on. Your blood glucose should return to normal. Your insulin use should return to normal. But if you end up with long COVID, which is a version of COVID that lasts for many months, that can elevate your insulin concentrations and elevate your blood glucose for many months. If you're in that situation, that is okay. You are likely to hopefully come back to normal. It might just take a longer period of time. So I'm not happy to hear that you're back on insulin. And just know that, if you continue to apply the methodology that we've described, that can help lower your blood glucose and hopefully improve the speed at which you recover and turn long COVID into not so long COVID. Okay, Margie says, how many times a day should I be drinking Almond Green? Okay, so the answer is you can drink Almond Green 1, 2, or 3 times per day. Okay, we have lots of people who drink it upwards of 3 times a day, and they say that they freaking love it and they enjoy the entire experience. So it's up to you how much you want to drink it, but I would say if you're drinking it once a day, you're doing a great job. Just add in a second cup and do that for a couple of weeks and then see how that makes you feel. A lot of people take like elderberry in the morning as an example, which is the immunity flavor, and then they'll take like pumpkin spice in the evening, or maybe they'll do pumpkin spice in the morning and they'll do hibiscus in the evening. So it's up to you how you want to do it, but that's my recommendation. Okay, somebody says, I'm getting out walking in the sunshine tomorrow for a couple of hours, and then Sunday got my martial arts practice. I'm not going to mess with you. I'm nervous about, somebody with martial arts skills coming in, making a fool out of me. Molly says, hey, best foods, nutrients to eat or not eat for thyroid health. All right, this is good. Husband has Graves and Hashimoto's disease. All right, cool. All right. So here's the deal. I don't think you can have Graves and Hashimoto's together because Hashimoto's is hypothyroidism, Graves is hyperthyroidism. So Graves makes your is excess thyroid hormone output, and Hashimoto's is insufficient thyroid hormone output. So might want to get a little clarification on that. But when it comes to thyroid health, okay, we have been asked this question 1,000 times before, which is, can you reverse Hashimoto's hypothyroidism as an example? And to the best of my knowledge, the only people that can actually reverse it is other people who can treat Hashimoto's through diet very early in the process. And I'm talking within the first couple of months of actually becoming hypothyroid. So if you developed hypothyroidism in the first couple of months and then you're able to catch it and start eating a very clean diet that is like we describe in the Mastering Diabetes book, again, whole foods, got to get rid of all refined foods. And there's 2 things in particular that are going to significantly improve your health. Number 1, gluten. Gluten seems to have a very negative effect on thyroid health. There's what's called the thyroid gut or thyroid celiac type 1 diabetes axis. This is all 3 autoimmune conditions. Okay. So the 3 of them run together. If you have thyroid dysfunction, it can predispose you to type 1 diabetes, and it can predispose you towards celiac disease, which is, gluten intolerance inside of your gut. So the scientific world has discovered that if you are living with a thyroid dysfunction and you are eating gluten products, that can actually make your thyroid gland more inflamed. So the general recommendation is try and lower your intake of gluten products. Okay, gluten comes from wheat, barley, spelt, and rye. Wheat, barley, spelt, and rye. If you can lower or hopefully eliminate all of those products, that can help restore thyroid health. And again, if you're early, you might be able to reverse it completely. But if you're not early, then you can at least normalize your thyroid function and hopefully get a little bit of energy back and maybe reduce your use of thyroid medication. All right, Nicholas, I picked on him earlier. He says, here's what's on my mind. Finding balance in regard to my diet, exercise, controlling my diabetes without meds. I went from a 9 to a 6.0 A1C. Nicholas, that's good work. I'm really proud of you. Tell me, what did you do? What did you do? Did you follow our methodology? Were you eating a plant-based diet? I want to know a little bit more. But when it comes to finding balance, I'm actually glad to hear you say that because, oftentimes what people tell us is that when they get in the world of trying to improve their overall health, it can become overwhelming. And before you know it, you're like scrolling through Instagram and you're scrolling through Facebook and you're in a coaching program and you're talking to your coach and you're text messaging and you're logging your food. And, before you know it, all of a sudden it just like dominates your headspace and you can't really like think about other things and you can't really like be a productive human being in the world. And people find that they get a little out of balance and a little overwhelmed. So if you're feeling that way, or you're feeling like, too much of your like mental power is going towards diet and lifestyle, take a deep breath and recognize that small habits repeated thousands of times become big habits. Small habits repeated thousands of times become big habits. Okay. Something as simple as waking up at the same time every morning is a small habit that has a profound effect on your brain health. A small habit like drinking a glass of water, drinking 2 glasses of water before you eat any food first thing in the morning is a small habit that can have a profound effect on your gut health. Performing 30 minutes of exercise per day that's predominantly aerobic with some resistance component is a small habit that can become a very big habit to your musculoskeletal system over the course of time. Okay, so take a deep breath, get out a piece of paper, and just write down the 3, 4, 5 habits that you are performing on a daily basis, and just focus on those. That's it. If you're finding that you're trying to add more habits and more habits and more habits and more habits and more habits, or the ones that you are performing right now are just getting to become too big and frustrating, then simplify. Find the most important habits and just do those over and over and over again. Literally turn yourself into a monotonous, boring robot. And when you do that, you will reap the benefits of consistency. Okay, I tell people all the time that I eat the same foods on a daily basis for the most part, plus or minus a couple here and there. I exercise every single day because I'm addicted to it. Okay. I try to go to sleep at approximately the same hour. I try to go to sleep or try to wake up at approximately the same hour. And my days are like relatively, consistent. And that helps me because it allows me to control my blood glucose and keep my life under control. So if, you have some habits, just find the three habits that are most crucial in your life and just become a robot with those 3 habits. And let's see what type of effect that has. Okay. Annette says, how do I tell my friend with type 2 diabetes about reversing? I've approached her once. She told me she's a meditarian. Now I just don't say anything, but I really want to. Okay. Annette, this is a great question. And people can be, depending on the sort of the level of stubbornness of your friend or family member, it can be like, hey, here's a light suggestion that actually does benefit people. Or, a light suggestion can turn into an argument, can turn into an interrogation session, and then it can cause tension. So if your friend says she's a meditarian, what you can do is you can share some videos from the Mastering Diabetes world, then that might be helpful. It just like, sure, go to a YouTube channel, find 3 or 4 videos that you think are cool, and just show them to her. Success stories work every time. Show her a success story, somebody that looks like her, somebody that might have a similar background of her. If she's a 40-year-old woman, go find a video of another 40-year-old woman and show it to her and be like, hey, look what just happened. This is pretty cool. Wink, wink, right? If she's a 35-year-old athletic woman, go find another 35-year-old athletic woman and show her the video of that person, and maybe that'll like plant a seed, and before you know it, all of a sudden she'll be a little bit more open-minded about maybe eating less meat. That's one option. That's just what I'm thinking of. Stream of consciousness here. Okay. Elizabeth started small group coaching a couple weeks ago, down 10 pounds, and fasting blood sugar this morning was 69. I've had a few between meals below 70. Time to get off medicine. Goal is to start moving my body now. Elizabeth, round of applause for you. Round of applause. Okay, I'm gonna take a brief pause here for a second, because before this live stream, I was just doing some mental math. As many of you guys may know, we have a coaching program. That is the bread and butter of Mastering Diabetes. We teach people, we help you implement a whole food plant-based lifestyle in your life to get results just like Elizabeth is saying, and even more over the course of time. Now, what we have discovered over the course of time is that when you fully commit to a coaching program and you have an accountability coach that you can communicate with on a daily basis, there's a very high chance that you're going to transform your lifestyle, and it's going to be one of the greatest things you've ever done for yourself, period, end of story. And we know that because we've done it with thousands of people already. Okay. Right now, our coaching program is nearing capacity. We have 465 people that are currently enrolled amongst our expert coaches. And our expert coaches are registered nurses, certified diabetes educators, registered dietitians, and every single one of them has a plant-based nutrition background and really understands the science inside and out. We're very, very, very particular about who our coaches are, and we put them through extensive training. So we have 465 people who are currently in the coaching program, plus or minus a few, and there are less than 30 spots available right now. So the number of spots that are available is a fraction, is less than 10% of the overall capacity. And that means that within a short period of time, we could get to a point where we actually just have to stop enrolling people. And that's a good problem to have, but I also would like to offer the opportunity for any of you guys, if you want to get involved in the coaching program, you're looking for a coach, you want somebody to help you with your lifestyle, to transform your habits from the inside out, just go to masteringdiabetes.org/start. Just go there. Once you go there, that will enable you to book a time to speak with somebody on our team who's then going to do a full evaluation to understand your lifestyle and your habits to try and figure out if you're a good fit. If you're a good fit, we'll extend you an invitation. And if we don't think you're a good fit, then we'll say, cool, thank you. Here's some other resources that will help you out. Okay. So if you want to get involved, now is the time, because there's only going to be a short period of time before we may have to close the program. Cool. Okay. I'm going to do another thing too. There's a lot of people who have been asking me over the past few weeks about how they can get more Almond Green into their lifestyle. So maybe I can share my screen. Let me try something here. Actually, it's not going to be. Okay, here's what you can do. Go to amlagreen.com. All you got to do is just go to this URL that you see on your website right here, or that you see at the bottom of the screen, amlagreen.com. When you go to amlagreen.com, right now we have a special, and the special that we're running for you guys is very simple. We are going to give you a free 30-day supply of pumpkin spice with any purchase. It doesn't matter what you purchase. You purchase something, we're going to give you a free 30-day bottle of pumpkin spice. If you're a pumpkin spice fan, I think you're going to like this flavor a lot. And we're just giving it away for free right now because we love you guys and we want to help you out. Okay. So what you got to do in order to execute that is you put something in your cart. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be a 30-day bottle, 90-day bottle. It could be a bundle. Choose something. And then also put in a 30-day supply of pumpkin spice. When you do that, when you go to check out, the 30-day pumpkin spice will just get knocked off. It'll become free. Okay. So again, purchase something, put a 30-day pumpkin spice into your cart, both of them together, and then the 30-day pumpkin spice will become free as you're in the checkout process. Okay. So if you can do that, then you can get a chance to have multiple Amla Green bottles in your possession, and hopefully that'll help you guys out. Cool. Okay, let's go back to the comments here. Okay, I'm gonna have to go rapid fire here. Boom. All right. Do chia seeds have to be soaked, or is it okay to use them non-hydrated? You can do either. The best way to use chia seeds is actually to grind them before you use them. So if you have spice grinders, grind them, and that'll help out and make them a little bit more absorbable. Okay, why do people always say to avoid white potatoes due to high glycemic indexes? It's detrimental to our health. The answer is no, do not avoid white potatoes. People love to say that they have a high glycemic index and a high glycemic load. It is false, okay? Do not fear the white potato. Just for clarity, I eat white potatoes almost every single day. And it's if you are insulin sensitive, then the glycemic index, it becomes relatively irrelevant. So do not worry about eating white potatoes. You are more than welcome to stick them into your diet. Nicholas come back again. He says, working in aviation makes it challenging with sleep, working weird hours, and eating proper time. I get you, Nicholas. That's tough. I mean, you're probably on a different time zone multiple times per week. I don't know what to say for that one, but consistency may help out in that as well. I've heard for jet lag in particular, when you're changing time zones, that if you just eat on a very consistent schedule, it can help regulate your circadian rhythms. So that might be something you could do to help out. Okay. I did a random non-fasting C-peptide and it was 7.7, and I'm going to try full whole processed vegan, but I'm finding it difficult ditching dairy. One more time. I did a random non-fasting C-peptide and it was 7.7, which is high. That means you're hyperinsulinemic. And I'm going to try full whole processed vegan. I don't know what whole processed vegan means. I think maybe unprocessed vegan, meaning no processed food, but I'm finding it difficult to ditch dairy. Okay, so here's the way to think about it. I don't necessarily need you to ditch dairy overnight, okay? If it takes you 2 months to lower your dairy intake over the course of time, that's going to make it easier for you, okay? So don't worry about having to switch overnight and just say, I'm not going to eat any more cheese or milk or eggs, okay? Just do it slowly. So all you got to do is count the number of dairy servings that you have per week. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, I am eating 10 servings of dairy per week. Let's just pretend like that was the truth. What I would do is I would say, okay, great. I'm going to start with 10, and then I'm going to do that for 1 week. The next week, I'm going to drop it from 10 to 8, and I'm going to hold that for a week. The next week, I'm going to go from 8 to 6, and then 6 to 4, then 4 to 2. And over the course of 5 weeks, I'm going to go from having 10 dairy products per week down to 0. Okay. It's not a race. Just do it systematically, do it slowly, and that's going to help you lower your dairy intake, and that's going to make your life just a little bit easier. Oh, look at this, look at this, look at this. Facebook user says, 100% reversed my non-alcoholic fatty liver disease last year on a whole food plant-based exercise and intermittent fasting. Boom! That's unbelievable. Very, 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 very nice work. Will you do me a favor? Facebook user, I don't know your actual name. Do me a favor. Write an email to team@masteringdiabetes.org. Okay. team@masteringdiabetes.org. And tell them that Cyrus specifically requested to do an interview. I would love to do an interview with you. I would love to learn a little bit more about exactly what you did. And I want to share your story because I know there's a lot of people who are living with fatty liver disease that want to hear your story. So team@masteringdiabetes.org, let me know. Carolyn, why is my morning fasting blood glucose higher than my evening fasting glucose? Okay, and the reason for that is because your liver is in a state of dysfunction. Your liver is exporting excess glucose into your blood in the middle of the night, and it is basically in a state where it has become so insulin resistant that it is not paying attention to the outside environment. So the answer is, again, low-fat, plant-based, whole food diet plus exercise plus intermittent fasting. If you can execute that and you can become very consistent with it, just the way we described in the Mastering Diabetes book, then that's going to help you significantly lower the amount of glucose that is being exported from your liver into your blood, and that's going to lower your fasting blood glucose first thing in the morning. I talk about it all the time. masteringdiabetes.org/book. Go there, pick up the book, literally execute those instructions, and it's going to make a world of difference into your diabetes health, your cholesterol, your body weight, and it will lower your blood glucose, your blood pressure, and your cholesterol simultaneously. Okay, here we go. Does your book have a plant-based diet? Absolutely. The book is all about a plant-based diet, Teresa. That is the number one reason we wrote that. Okay, Nicholas, come back here, says intermittent fasting, lost 30 pounds. Nicholas, I love it. Keep it going strong. You're clearly doing something right. Okay, Darren says, struggling a bit with eating foods with too much fat. Okay, Darren, here's remember what I said earlier about taking it slowly and slowly transitioning from high fat to low fat, from high dairy to low dairy, from high processed food to low processed food. Carve out a regimen where you can do that over the course of, a month to 2 months or so, and just be gentle, because when you make rapid dietary changes, it causes your brain to get a little bit weird, and your brain doesn't love it. And as a result of that, it can actually make the transition to a plant-based diet just feel weird, and it can actually harm your progress in the long term. Okay. So slow is the key. It is not a race. This is a marathon. Okay. Identify the foods that have too much fat using Chronometer. And then once you do that, you can then slowly reduce them. If you're eating 2 avocados per day, start with 2 avocados and then decrease it to 1.5 avocados over the course of weeks. Then from 1.5 to 1, then from 1 down to a half, then from a half down to an eighth. You know what I'm saying? If you're having a lot of oil in your diet, systematically reduce that over the course of time. It's not rocket science, but it just requires dedication, and it requires a, very systematic approach. Okay. We got 2 minutes. Okay, here we go. Teresa says, you talk about exercise in the book. I had the book, but that was a while ago, and I don't remember. Okay, Teresa, got to pick it up again. I don't, in 2 minutes, I can't tell you everything that I told you in the book, but all I can tell you here is that exercise stimulates glucose uptake. Exercise is a substitute for insulin, and that's good whether you're injecting it or whether it's coming from your own body. You want to find substitutes for insulin because that lowers the amount of insulin required. Number 2, exercise allows glucose to get sucked up into your muscle tissue when you're not exercising. That's the most important thing. So if you exercise for 30 minutes, the other 23 hours of the day and 23:30 of the day, your liver and your muscle are hungry for glucose, and they literally pull glucose out of your blood, and that lowers your blood glucose, and that's a good thing for you. So exercise and do it frequently. Okay, here's the deal. I got to go because it's 7:30, and we've been here for half an hour and hopefully answered a decent number of questions. Okay, I'll flash a couple more. Facebook user, Mastering Diabetes has changed my life in 3 short weeks. It has given me hope with the MD tweaks to my whole food, plant-based, no nutrition. I am so excited about being normal with good blood glucose. I love it. You Facebook user, you are awesome. I love about it. I love that. How about if you're over 65? Doesn't matter. There's no time. What's the word I'm looking for? There's no stage in the life cycle for which eating a whole food plant-based diet does not work. You can be a toddler, you can be an adolescent, you can be an adult, you can be elderly, you can be middle-aged, you can be a teenager. It doesn't matter. Any stage in the life cycle can be benefited by a whole food plant-based regimen. Boom. Boom. Here we look at this. Look at this. Facebook user, I took the coaching program, worth every penny. I love it. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Remember, last thing I'll say, I'm not here to sell anything. I'm really not. I'm not trying to do any of that. If you want to be coached, if you want somebody who's going to change your life, if you want your entire life to be changed in a positive direction, just like our Facebook user has told us, go to masteringdiabetes.org/start. Pick up one of those last coaching spots that are available. Again, there's less than 30. We have 465 people currently in the program. There are less than 30 spots available, and we will likely sell out relatively soon. Cool. I love you guys. I got to bounce. Have a great night, and we will see you next week. We do a live every Friday at 1:00 p.m. Eastern, which is 10:00 p.m. Pacific. So we will see you guys back there. And in the meantime, keep going strong. Have an awesome weekend. Get some sun, get some exercise, eat some good food. And I love you guys. Have a great night. Take care, guys. Bye.